Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about the Caribbean island of Antigua. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. Tourism campaigns for Antigua frequently state that the island has 365 beaches, giving you a different beach to explore for every single day of a standard year without visiting the same location twice. What do you think? Is this an actual documented fact or just too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is archipelago. That's archipelago. An archipelago is a group, chain, or collection of islands located in a body of water. The word comes from the Greek words archi, meaning chief, and pelagos, meaning sea. The Greeks originally used this term to identify the Aegean Sea, which contains numerous islands. Over centuries, the meaning shifted from the sea itself to the islands within that sea. Geographers classify archipelagos by how they're formed, including volcanic activity, tectonic shifts, and erosion. Antigua and Barbuda forms an independent nation that operates as a single political archipelago. Geographically, it belongs to a larger island group known as the Leeward Islands. The Leeward Islands form the northern section of the Lesser Antilles chain in the Caribbean Sea. Understanding this term helps explain Antigua's historical trade routes and its unique wildlife. Water separates animal and plant populations across an archipelago, which forces different species to adapt to specific island environments over time, leading to a phenomenon known as divergent evolution. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about Antigua. Number 1. Nelson's Dockyard is the only working Georgian dockyard in the world. British forces began constructing Nelson's Dockyard in the 18th century to maintain their naval fleet in the Caribbean. The facility provided a safe harbor during severe hurricanes and allowed shipwrights to repair vessels without making the long journey back to Europe. Horatio Nelson, a famous British naval commander, managed operations at the dockyard from 1784 to 1787. The naval base declined in use by the late 19th century, but restoration efforts began in the 1950s to rebuild the historic stone buildings and maritime infrastructure. Today, the dockyard operates as a modern marina for sailing vessels, but it's also a wonderful example of colonial naval engineering. The site received recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2016 due to its beautifully preserved Georgian architecture. The surrounding buildings now function as museums, local businesses, and hotels. And artifacts recovered from the harbor mud provide archaeologists with valuable data about the tools used by 18th century sailors. Number 2. The Antigua black pineapple remains green on the outside, even when it's fully ripe. The Antigua black pineapple is the official national fruit and proudly displayed on the country's coat of arms. Indigenous Arawak populations first introduced pineapples to Antigua thousands of years after migrating from South America. The modern Antigua black variety developed over time through natural adaptation to the island's climate. Agricultural workers harvest the delicate fruit entirely by hand to prevent damaging the skin. This labor-intensive process limits production, and the relatively thin, delicate skin makes it hard to transport long distances, so it's rarely exported to other countries. Farmers cultivate the Antigua black pineapple in the southern region of the island. The soil in this area contains unique minerals that increases the fruit's sugar content while lowering its acidity. And that's why the Antigua Black is considered the world's sweetest pineapple. Unlike standard pineapples that turn color as they ripen, the exterior skin of the Antigua Black stays dark green throughout its entire life cycle. This means farmers can't rely on color cues to figure out when the fruit is ready to harvest. Instead, they test the firmness and smell of the fruit. Number 3. The Antiguan racer snake is one of the greatest species comeback stories after surviving near extinction. The Antiguan racer is a harmless, non-venomous snake species that feeds entirely on local lizards. The snakes have speckled brown scales that provide excellent camouflage among the leaves on the forest floor. During the 19th century, plantation owners introduced Asian mongooses to Antigua to control rat populations in the sugarcane fields. Unfortunately, the mongooses also consumed the snakes, leading biologists to declare the Antiguan racer extinct in 1936. Thankfully, in 1995, researchers discovered a surviving population of just 50 snakes on Great Bird Island, a tiny landmass off the Maine coast. This discovery launched a massive conservation program to protect the remaining snakes. Conservationists began removing rats and mongooses from the small offshore islands to create safe habitats. The snake population rebounded after that predator removal, increasing from just 50 to over 1,100 today. Biologists now transport groups of snakes to nearby cleared islands to establish secondary colonies. The Antiguan Racer Project is one of the most successful reptile rescue operations in history. Number 4. Antigua's highest peak was named Mount Obama for 7 years in order to honor the 44th President of the United States. The highest point of elevation on Antigua measures 402 meters above sea level. The terrain consists of ancient volcanic rock marking the remnants of the geological activity that formed the southwest portion of the island. The area also has a major transmission tower that serves as a geographic reference point for sailors, and hikers travel the steep trails leading to the summit to view neighboring islands on clear days. For centuries, mapmakers labeled this landform as Boggy Peak, but on August 4, 2009, the government of Antigua and Barbuda officially renamed the mountain Mount Obama. Officials chose this date to coincide with Barack Obama's birthday to commemorate the first black president of the United States. Of course, this decision wasn't without controversy, as many critics felt that the name of the peak should honor the history and achievements of Antiguans. 7 years later, a new government administration voted to revert the name back to Boggy Peak. Officials stated that the original name held deep historical importance to the island's enslaved ancestors who frequently used this hill for refuge. And our fifth and final fun fact for today. Antigua is surrounded by water, but ironically, it lacks permanent lakes and rivers. The geological composition of Antigua consists primarily of low-lying limestone and coral. Because the island lacks high mountain ranges, it can't easily capture passing clouds to generate heavy, predictable rainfall. Consequently, there aren't any permanent rivers or freshwater lakes to store water for the population. Historically, residents had to collect rainwater in large stone cisterns during the wet season. In a tragic irony, despite being surrounded by water, the island suffered severe droughts that frequently threatened agricultural production and human settlements throughout history. Thankfully, modern engineering was able to solve the water problem. The government constructed reverse osmosis desalination plants. These high-tech facilities pull salt water directly from the ocean and push it through specialized membranes to filter out the salt. Desalination currently provides about 70 to 80% of the island's municipal water supply, and in a severe drought, that can go up to 100%. Engineers pump this treated fresh water through an island-wide network of pipes to businesses, homes, and agricultural centers. This infrastructure ensures a stable water source despite the island's surprisingly dry climate conditions. Now for some news you can use. Many people like pineapple, but it can be hard to find a good one in the grocery store. While some fruit, like bananas, might be green on the shelf and ripen a day or two later, pineapples are categorized as non-climacteric fruit. Pineapples lack the ability to produce significant ethylene gas, which converts stored starches into sugars once cut from the parent plant. As a result, pineapples will soften and decay on the counter, but they'll never get sweeter, so it's important to pick them at their peak. Many people mistakenly judge a pineapple by the color of its rind, but as we learned from the Antigua Black, color doesn't guarantee a ripe interior. You might have heard that pulling a leaf from the center crown proves a pineapple is ripe, but that's actually a myth. A leaf that pulls out too easily usually just means the fruit is beginning to decay or was damaged during shipping. So here are 3 ways to check a pineapple's ripeness. First, look at the eyes. Choose a pineapple with large, flat eyes, the diamond-shaped section on the skin. Flat, developed eyes indicate the fruit was allowed to fully mature on the plant. Second, you might press the base. Press the bottom of the fruit. It should yield slightly to gentle pressure without feeling soft, mushy, or bruised. And lastly, give it the old smell test. Turn the pineapple upside down and smell the very bottom of it. It should have a distinct, sweet, and tropical aroma. If it smells sour or like alcohol, the fruit has passed its peak and has actually begun to ferment. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, is it true that Antigua has 365 beaches, one for every day of the year? This one's a fallacy, or I guess you might say just a bit of an exaggeration. The phrase "a beach for every day of the year" was created as a highly successful tourism marketing slogan in the mid-20th century to promote the island as a year-round vacation destination. Geologists and cartographers have never mapped a survey showing an exact count of 365 distinct beaches, but the notion matches the spirit of the island. Antigua's irregular coastline is packed with an incredible number of natural coves, inlets, and hidden bays. Best of all of these beaches remain 100% open to the public by law. This means no individual or luxury resort can ever restrict your access to the shore. Massive coral reefs surround the island and break the incoming ocean waves, which protects the white sand from erosion and creates calm, clear water for swimmers. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Antigua with me today, and be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.